You're listening to the Life Coaching Secrets Podcast, episode 185.
Did you know that life coaches are needed now more than ever? I'm Frank Macri, founder of Thriving Coach Academy. I've trained over 1,000 coaches and helped them launch their own successful coaching businesses. If you want to make an incredible income and impact as a coach and have a lot of fun doing it, I'll show you exactly how to get it done. This is Life Coaching Secrets.
What's up, coaches? In this episode, I'm going to talk about when to quit your job for your coaching business. This is one of the biggest questions that comes up for new and aspiring coaches, and I am so excited to share my tips for you. If you feel like you are working for another company right now, you're not really sure when it's appropriate to really take that leap and devote yourself fully to your coaching. I know that this brings up a lot of fear. It might bring up a lot of excitement and overwhelm. So I'm going to give you all that I got. I'm so excited to share this episode with you. Now, I want to start out by telling you my story of the transition that I made and the transition that really all entrepreneurs make at some point, where you go from working for somebody else and then eventually there's that tipping point where you fully become your own boss and you have full control over your income. So when I was many years before I was training coaches, I had a part-time job. And that job was able to provide me with enough money to pay my bills and also for me to put food on the table. So I really saw that part-time job as my security blanket, or so I thought. And in addition to the part-time job, I was also running my coaching business part-time, and I was starting to enroll paying clients. It was growing little by little. The income varied month by month. There were some months that were better than others, but I wasn't making more than I was making in the part-time job. So I still wasn't really in the space where I thought I was ready to leave that part-time job. But as I continued to focus on my coaching business, I felt more and more like that part-time job was weighing me down. It was holding me back. And to give you a greater context, I was making around $3,000 a month from that job. So about $36,000 a year, just enough to really cover the essentials. So as I continued to let this happen in my life, where I was dividing my attention between my part-time job and my coaching business, there was this tension that I was feeling. I was starting to resent that part-time job, and it was starting to impact the way that I showed up to it. And one day, it was early in December, right before the holidays. One day, I woke up and was told that my manager needed to have a conversation with me. And she told me abruptly in the conversation that effective immediately, I was no longer working for the company and I was being released from the team. And I felt like I had such a crazy feeling when that happened. I felt like there was this hole in my chest. Like I was just hollow. I didn't really know what to think and how to react. I felt like the carpet was pulled out from underneath me. And if you've ever had an experience like that, you can understand how disorienting it really is. I just felt like I couldn't even keep my balance. I had to actually sit down because I was so scared and I was worried about what am I going to do now? And I was so afraid that I wasn't going to be able to make what I was making with that part-time job. And I was thinking about the year ahead, and I was thinking, how on earth am I going to make $36,000? How on earth am I going to make this happen? And even though I had all this fear, there was also a little part of me that felt a sense of relief, like I'm finally free. I'm finally liberated. And I was having a conversation with lots of people at that time just to help me navigate this unexpected change. And one person asked me a question that really set a spark for what was possible. And I want you to consider this question for yourself. The friend of mine said, what if in a year from now, you look back and you end up making more than what you would have made from this part-time job? What if you end up making more? And I'd never considered that before because my brain was focused on the negative, as our brains typically do. So I really started to sit with it and think, what if I do end up making more than $36,000? Like, that is possible. And once I started to sit with that, I began to get more excited, and I started realizing the true the true difference of my life at that point, because it was the first time that I now had total control over the impact I wanted to make on people's lives. And it was the first time I had full control over the income that I also wanted to create. I wasn't limited by what a job was going to tell me what my salary was. And it was the first time that I had total control over my energy, meaning my energy, my focus, where I put my attention. So something really sparked in me, and I devoted the following year fully to my coaching business. Now, it started out with some months where the income was on the lower side, and then things grew over time. And within a year from that moment that I got fired from the other job, a year later, I added up all the numbers and I looked back to see what I had made in the year. And I had made around $100,000 as a coach. And just saying that out loud actually brings me back to the moment. And it was such a moment where I realized how powerful we really are when we could put our focus on what we truly care about. And when I looked at the numbers even further than that, there were, some months that were higher than others, but there was one of those months in the entire year where I made over $36,000. There was one, I think it was around $40,000 to $45,000 in just one of those months. And I thought, oh my gosh, I made the entirety of what I'd earned from that part-time job in just one of these months in the year that I had been fired from the job. Isn't that incredible? So here's what I want you to take from this. I want you to think about, if you have a full-time or a part-time job right now, think about the energy that you're putting into it. And think about how, even with the energy you're putting into it, how you still have the success you're having with that job. You're still getting some kind of a salary. You're putting your energy towards doing a job that maybe you don't love. It's not really fulfilling you. You're not very passionate about it. Okay. Now imagine how successful you will be when you actually put your energy into doing work that you do love and doing work that aligns with your passion and your values. It is remarkably different what the result is. Okay. So there's two different types of energy in our life. There's energy that is draining you. Okay. So that's when you're doing things that cause you to feel depleted and they tap you out. They might lead you to burnout. That's the draining energy when you're doing things that don't align with what you're passionate about. And then there's energy that's fueling you. And this is how I felt in that year when I was able to really devote myself to my business. It was energy that I could put to it, but also energy that fueled me because it was exciting. It was fulfilling. I was eager to get out of bed in the morning and get to work. It was very different from the energy I had with the part-time job and other jobs that I've had prior to that. So I want you to think about your energy as a pie. Let's think about 100% would be the full pie. Okay. When you put more of your energy towards something, you're going to get more results. So it's kind of like if you were to go to the gym once every month or once every couple of months, you're going to have drastically different results from someone that goes to the gym once every week or several times a week. Okay. So right now you might be devoting, let's say 10% of your energy and your focus to your coaching business. And maybe you're not so happy with the results, so it's causing you to question if success is really possible. But again, that is just like going to the gym once every month and expecting to have a beautifully fit body, right? When have you really devoted yourself to something fully? Consider that for yourself. When have you really done it? And if you haven't, see the opportunity that you have in front of you to really discover what's possible, to really discover your fullest potential. When that moment comes for you, when you quit your job, or in my case, if you're fired from your job and you realize that now everything is relying on you, all of your results must come from you, it's all in your power. It is scary at first to have that thought, right? Having any new thought could be scary, even if they're positive thoughts and thoughts that help you grow. So when you have these thoughts like everything's in my control, everything's in my power, that might be a very scary thought to have at first. But also when you sit with it, it becomes liberating. It becomes an essential thought that you want to keep with you for the rest of your life. You're not going to want to look back. So what if you really could surprise yourself with what you are truly capable of? Another thing I want you to consider is that most things in life are not permanent. And one may even argue that there's nothing in life that's permanent. So in some cases, your old job or your current job right now that eventually may become your old job, it's probably not going to go anywhere, right? You could always go back and seek out that job or find another position that a company is offering that would align with your previous experience. And if that's not true for you, just know like the corporate world is not going anywhere. There are going to be jobs out there. But what if you gave yourself 1 year to be fully committed and dedicated to your vision and your goals as a coach, right? Even if in the year you end up making less money than you would have made from your other job, you will still have grown as a human and as an entrepreneur exponentially. So see your coaching business, if the transition from working for someone else to working for yourself feels very scary and permanent, see it as just a 1-year experiment, right? And this might be more reasonable for you. Your brain might be able to wrap its head around a 1-year experiment instead of digesting the idea of quitting your job for good and never having anything to go back to, which you know is likely not true. There will always be jobs for you to go back to. It's kind of like how I felt when I decided to leave Long Island for the first time. I was born and raised there, and I was scary to leave Long Island, and I moved to Boston to go to college. And I was, wondering, should I stay on Long Island where I'm comfortable, where it's familiar? And I realized Long Island's not going to go anywhere, right? I can always go to Boston. If I don't like it, I can come on back to Long Island. And spoiler alert, I've never moved back to Long Island. I've actually lived in 6 different places at this point. So you can see transitioning from your job to your coaching business in a similar way. Now, some of the signs that it may be time for you to consider leaving a job that you have. If you already have the tools, like you have the coaching tools that can make a difference in your clients' lives. So you have the tools to make a difference. That's one sign. Second is if you have a marketing strategy, like you have a plan. You don't need to have all of the details. You don't need to know every single step of how it's going to unfold, but a marketing strategy that you can devote yourself to. But you also realize that the only thing that's really missing is your time and your attention to really see the results for that to come to life. Okay, remember the gym analogy I gave before. If you're going to the gym once every month and you are expecting to have amazing results with your body, that's the same type of bias you might have if you think, oh, the 5% I'm giving to my coaching business is indicative of the real success I'm going to have. No, it is exponentially different when you devote yourself 100% to your coaching business. Now, I also want you to remember that you don't have to quit right away. Sometimes when students join our program or they're right before the step of enrolling, they think, oh my gosh, I don't want to quit my job right now. We have students that quit. Some of them quit their job while they're in the process of getting certified. So within their first 6 months, we have several others who they wait around the first year after they join our program to transition out of their job and fully go into coaching. So you don't have to make any drastic decision right now. I just want you to imagine the day when you are making that decision and know that you will be okay. And also realize that you don't have to quit all at once. Okay, you could see if there's opportunities to bring things from a full-time job to maybe a part-time job. So some coaches in our program, they will have conversations with their employers and they will transition from maybe working 5 days a week to working 4 or 3 days a week. And if that's not an option for you, then you could also leave that job behind, the full-time job, and find a part-time job that allows you to afford the essentials in your life, that allows you to be taken care of, and then have the rest of your time and energy to devote to your coaching business. So for some people, maybe you can adjust 40 hours at another job to 30 hours or 5 days to 4 days. All of this is a great start. It's going to really allow you to start seeing what a difference you can make. Okay, whether it's doing that or finding a part-time job. I had done this, as I shared earlier, until the job was taken away from me. And I kind of, in retrospect, it's interesting because I do feel like there's a divine timing and a divine order to how things happen in our life. And when I look back at when I lost that job, I realized that it was really a gift. It was really a blessing. Like I had outgrown that job. It was holding me back. It was like I had these wings, and once I was let go from that job, I could actually use those wings to fly. So even though it was so scary and it was, so frustrating and upsetting, and I felt a big sense of betrayal, when I look back at that experience, I could not help but feel such an overwhelming amount of gratitude for that happening. I really felt like, because I didn't come to the decision on my own to leave, the universe was like, we're going to force you out so you can really go out there and share the gifts that you know that you have. Okay. And if you're feeling like you have those gifts as well, then trust in that and know that maybe that's a sign that it's time for you to see what's possible when you can really devote yourself to sharing those gifts fully, giving it your undivided attention. And the last note I want to share is that if you worry about quitting your job, that you're going to be betraying your job or the people that you've been loyal to. Sometimes some of our students have brought this up. Another way I want you to see it is that you're not betraying anybody if you decide to quit a job that you've been loyal to for a long time. You're not betraying anyone. What you're doing is you are honoring your evolution. You are honoring your growth. And if there's one thing I know to be true about us as humans, it's that we are put on this planet to grow. Our species must continually adapt in order for it to continue on. So whenever you are called, whenever you are invited by a greater force, you just feel something inside you that is drawing you to show up in a bigger way, then when you honor that, you are literally honoring your evolutionary role of what it means to be a human. And there's a phrase that says if you're either growing or dying, right? So how well are you honoring that in your life right now? While you may be worried about betraying others, don't betray yourself in the process. There are going to be some people who care about what you do for them. And there's going to be some people who only care about who you are. And let me share that one more time. Some people, they're just going to care about what you do for them. Others care about who you really are. So there are those who really value who you are, and those people are going to be excited and supportive of you for your path forward. Okay? They're really going to be focused on you. And those are the people that you want to keep around in your life. And on the other hand, there are some people that only really care about what you can do for them. And those are the people that are going to be frustrated and bothered when you decide to do something that aligns with your evolution. You can leave a job with grace and dignity. You can express appreciation for what the job has done for you and the opportunity to be a part of the team and contribute to the company. So you can leave with grace and dignity. You don't have to have this, crazy drama or any negativity when you leave, but just know that you can't control other people's behavior. You can't control other people's thoughts. So those that are really upset or offended or bothered by you honoring your growth and doing something that you're drawn to do, maybe those are not the people that you'd want to keep in your life anyway. Keep the people in your life who don't just appreciate the person you are, but also appreciate and support the person that you're becoming. Now, I want to address some myths that you might think you might have around what it really takes before you can leave a job and devote yourself to your coaching business. One myth is that you need to have a long list of clients already lined up. This is not true. You don't need to have a lot of clients lined up. Second myth is that you need to be making the same exact salary as your current job, so that way you can transition seamlessly. Okay, for most coaches, they're not making the same of what they're making at their current job because they're not giving their coaching business the same amount of energy as they would give to their job. So there's a little bit of a transition where you start out and you're not making as much, but then you end up making exponentially more than what you were making working for somebody else. Another big myth is that you need to feel totally confident and ready without any doubts and fears. This is not true. There is going to be doubt and fear. Okay, we have doubt and fear whenever we make transformational life decisions. Okay, there's always a mix of emotions. One of the reframes I share with our coaches in the academy is that when you have that mixture of doubt with fear, with also excitement and enthusiasm and curiosity, all this mixes together. And this makes up what it means to be alive. And most people, they're just existing in their life. They are too afraid to really take risks and bet on themselves. But when you have decisions and opportunities that bring a mix of excitement and fear and doubt and passion and purpose, this is what it really means to be alive. You want to say yes to those opportunities. You want to lean into them. These are the stories that you're going to look back on in your life with gratitude. You're going to be so glad that you took these risks and bet on yourself because they allowed you to really see what was possible for you. So it's okay if you have doubts and fears. That's part of the equation of being a human who is really showing up with aliveness. And then the last myth is that there is a perfect or right time to quit or leave behind a job to fully pursue your business. There's no such thing as the perfect time. You're never going to feel totally ready. Trust your gut and know that if you've got that curiosity of what it would be like to leave a job and really focus on your business fully, that curiosity, it's not going to leave you alone. Our dreams don't leave us alone. So follow your curiosity. Give it an opportunity to see what's there. So as you stand on the edge of a decision to leave behind a job, I want you to remember that the only real security in your life comes from you. It does not come from a job. And this is what I had to learn the hard way when I had spent a long time thinking that security, the security blanket was coming from that job I had. Okay, your security doesn't come from a paycheck that a company gives you or a title that they give you, but it comes in you having the courage to bet on yourself and live the life that you truly want. So what if instead of staying in a job that drains you, you were able to pour your energy into doing something that really sets your soul on fire? Remember, you don't need to have all the answers right now. You just need to trust yourself enough to take that leap. And 1 year from now, you might just look back and realize that the moment you let go was the moment that you truly began to soar. Okay, so I want to leave you with one question to sit with. What if you could surprise yourself with what you are really capable of? I want you to go and chase that answer. All right, that's what I got in this episode on when to quit your job for your coaching business. Before you go, I'm going to share with you a snippet from an interview that I had with one of our coaches in the academy so you can hear about their experience and also learn from their tips on what it takes to be successful as a coach. So enjoy their story, and I will see you in the next episode.
Hi, my name is Maggie Hemphill, and I am training to be a certified professional coach. I already have been engaged in a lot of mentoring and coaching people just naturally in who I am. And what led me to coaching was finding a way to monetize something that I'm already gifted at and making a career out of it. I think what drew me to get certified as a professional coach was finding some new tools to use. I think I had a lot of experience just with my everyday relationships and the things that I had learned along the way, that I really wanted some sort of tried and true practices, some tips and tricks for helping people that are really stuck in circular patterns of behavior or ways of thinking that have not benefited them. So I was looking for a way to kind of enhance and help me in places that would make me a more effective coach to people. When I was thinking about enrolling in the Thriving Coach Academy, one of the things that came up for me was, do I really want to invest this much money in myself? I was already doing some coaching, and like, is this something that's really going to take me to the next level? Is this going to be something that's going to really benefit both me and my clients? And what I have found is that I have grown more in my personal life, in honestly every area of my life, and it has impacted both my clients and myself personally. So both professionally and personally, this has grown me in ways that I could not have foreseen. Because of the growth that I've seen in multiple areas of my life, I've come to realize that it is definitely worth the financial investment in myself. Before I joined the Thriving Coach Academy, I think I was afraid to put myself out there as a coach. But by module 2, which was only a couple months into the program, to my amazement, I already had 8 potential clients lined up with a wait list of 5 people. Frank had said early on in our program that your clients are literally out there waiting for you. And I didn't believe him, but he has made me a believer. People are waiting for you to use your skills and your talents as a coach. Personally, this training has changed me in multiple areas of my life. Frank has always said that you are your first client, and it's true. My coaching training has shifted my way of thinking, and it has changed the way I engage people in various aspects of my life. It has opened up so many more opportunities for me to work as a coach. And I see this opening up a successful business for myself as a professional certified coach. One of the things that I am really excited for in regards to starting my own business as a coach is the amount of flexibility that I'm going to have being my own boss. I am excited about the seemingly limitless potential in financial security that I'll be able to have, knowing that I am the one who is going to decide the limits that I have for myself. And I would not have believed that for myself if I have not gone through the training and learned about the business aspects of becoming a coach. I have previously had another business and I had never been able to figure out why it didn't work, why it failed. And through Thriving Coach Academy, one of the courses that we take is on entrepreneurship. And it was through that I learned exactly why my previous business failed. And I'm so grateful for all of the entrepreneurship and business support that the Thriving Coach Academy gives us as you are setting up your own business. You will be a success because of the amount of support and business knowledge you will come out of through Thriving Coach Academy. I would tell a prospective student who's considering Thriving Coach Academy that you will grow in every area of your life if you embark on this journey to become a professional coach. Trust the process, lean into your classmates, ask questions of your instructors, and be open to transforming into the best version of yourself.
Hey, would you like access to powerful coaching tools you can use on yourself and clients right away? For being a listener of the podcast, I'm giving you a VIP guest pass to get a sneak peek into my coach training program. Inside, you'll learn our coaches' secret tool they use to transform their clients' lives. And you'll also get a training on how to launch a coaching business. Just head over to www.thrivingcoachacademy.com/VIP to get started. I'll see you on the inside.